Anxiety. It's that invisible force that follows you everywhere. An uninvited shadow that clings to your every step. It doesn't just whisper in your ear. It shouts, it nags, it twists your thoughts into knots. It feeds on your doubts, growing stronger with every what if and why didn't I. Slowly, quietly, it begins to unravel the threads of your life, starting with the things you care about the most. Like your relationships. Imagine this. You're sitting across from someone you love, someone who means the world to you. But instead of being present, instead of soaking in the warmth of their laughter or the comfort of their presence, your mind is elsewhere. It's racing, spiraling, replaying every word you've said, every glance you've exchanged, searching for hidden meanings that don't exist. You overanalyze their tone, their body language, convinced that something is wrong, that you're the problem. And before you know it, you're pulling away, building walls instead of bridges, all because anxiety has convinced you that you're not enough, that you don't deserve this connection. But here's the thing. Anxiety lies. It's a master manipulator, a thief of joy, and it thrives in isolation. The more you listen to its toxic whispers, the more it isolates you from the people who matter most. It convinces you that you're protecting yourself, but in reality, it's robbing you of the very things that make life worth living. Love, trust, and connection. The good news? You don't have to let it win. Anxiety may be powerful, but it's not invincible. It's a part of you, but it doesn't define you. By recognizing its tricks, by reaching out instead of retreating, by sharing your fears instead of burying them, you can start to take back control. It's not easy, and it's not instant, but every small step you take toward openness and vulnerability is a step toward reclaiming your life, and your relationships, from the grip of anxiety. So the next time that shadow creeps in, remember, you are stronger than your fears, and the connections you cherish are worth fighting for. Don't let anxiety steal what matters most. You've got this. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where you overthought a text message? You know, the kind where you send something simple like, "Hey, how's your day?" And then, silence. No reply. Minutes turn into hours, and suddenly, your mind is a whirlwind of chaos. Did I say something wrong? Are they mad at me? Do they even care anymore? Maybe they're tired of me. Maybe I'm too much. Maybe I'm not enough. Before you know it, you've rewritten the entire narrative of your relationship based on a single unanswered text. That, my friend, is anxiety. And it's not just about text messages. It's about the way it creeps into your relationships, weaving itself into the fabric of your thoughts and emotions. It plants seeds of doubt, fear, and insecurity, watering them with every unanswered call, every awkward silence, every moment of uncertainty. It's like a slow poison, seeping into the cracks of your connections, eroding trust, and distorting reality. Think about it. How many times have you convinced yourself that someone was upset with you, only to find out they were just busy? How many times have you held back from expressing how you really felt because you were afraid of how they might react? Anxiety doesn't just make you overthink. It makes you underact. It keeps you stuck in your head, second-guessing every word, every gesture, every decision. And the more you feed it, the louder it gets, until it's all you can hear. But here's the thing. Anxiety thrives in the shadows. It grows when you keep it to yourself, when you let it fester in silence. The antidote? Openness. Honesty. Vulnerability. It's about saying, "Hey, I know this might sound silly, but I've been overthinking this text, and I just need to know if everything's okay." It's about recognizing that your fears are valid, but they don't have to control you. Because here's the truth. Relationships are messy. They're imperfect, unpredictable, and sometimes downright confusing. But they're also beautiful, resilient, and worth fighting for. Anxiety might try to convince you otherwise, but don't let it. Don't let it rob you of the connections that light up your life. Don't let it turn silence into a story, or a pause into a problem. So the next time you find yourself spiraling over a text, take a deep breath. Remind yourself that anxiety is just a voice, not the truth. And then if you need to, reach out. Because the people who truly care about you, they'll be there to remind you that you're not alone, and that you never have to face your fears by yourself. Here's the thing. Anxiety doesn't just live in your mind. It spills over into your actions, like ink bleeding through a page, staining everything it touches. You might start seeking constant reassurance from your partner, almost like you're trying to fill an endless void. Asterisk. Do you still love me? Are you sure you're not upset with me? Did I do something wrong? Asterisk over and over, like a broken record. And even when they reassure you, it's never enough. The relief is fleeting, and before you know it, the doubts creep back in, louder and more insistent than before. Or maybe you do the opposite. Maybe you withdraw, pulling away like a turtle retreating into its shell. You convince yourself that if you don't get too close, you can't get hurt. You stop sharing your thoughts, your feelings, your dreams. You build walls instead of bridges, thinking you're protecting yourself, but all you're really doing is isolating yourself from the person who cares about you most. You become a ghost in your own relationship, present but not really there, watching from the sidelines as the distance grows. And here's the kicker. Anxiety convinces you that this is normal, that this is just how relationships work. It tells you that you're being cautious or realistic, but in reality, you're letting fear dictate your life. You're letting it steal your voice, your confidence, your ability to truly connect with someone. It's like living in a house with the lights off, stumbling around in the dark, too afraid to flip the switch because you're scared of what you might see. But here's the truth. You don't have to live like this. Anxiety might feel like a monster, but it's a monster you can learn to tame. It starts with recognizing its tricks, with understanding that the need for constant reassurance or the urge to withdraw are just coping mechanisms. Ways to try to control the uncontrollable. And while they might feel comforting in the moment, they're not sustainable. They're not the foundation for a healthy, thriving relationship. So what can you do instead? Start by being honest, with yourself and with your partner. Tell them how you're feeling, even if it feels scary. Let them in. Vulnerability is terrifying, but it's also the key to connection. And when those anxious thoughts creep in, challenge them. Ask yourself, asterisk, is this really true? Or is it just my anxiety talking? Asterisk, most of the time, you'll find that the stories your mind creates are far worse than reality. Remember, you're not alone in this. Everyone struggles with doubt and fear at times. What matters is how you choose to respond. Will you let anxiety dictate your actions, or will you take a step, however small, toward breaking free? The choice is yours. And trust me, the other side of fear? It's worth it. And what happens? Your partner starts to feel the weight of it. They might feel like they're walking on eggshells, carefully choosing their words, their actions, even their tone, trying not to trigger your anxiety. They might start second-guessing themselves, wondering if they're doing enough, saying enough, being enough. And over time, the relationship begins to feel less like a partnership and more like a minefield. One wrong step, and everything could blow up. Or worse, they might start to feel like they're not enough. Like no matter how much love, patience, or reassurance they pour into the relationship, it's never going to fill the hole your anxiety has dug. They might start to feel drained, exhausted, even resentful, not because they don't care, but because they're human, and carrying the weight of someone else's fears is a heavy burden to bear. And that's the irony, isn't it? The very thing you're afraid of, losing them, is the thing you're pushing them toward. Anxiety has a way of creating self-fulfilling prophecies. It convinces you that you're unlovable, that you're too much or not enough, and then it nudges you to act in ways that align with those beliefs. You pull away, you lash out, you demand reassurance, and slowly but surely, the connection begins to fray. It's like trying to hold on to sand. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips through your fingers. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be this way. Relationships are a two-way street, and while anxiety might make you feel like you're the problem, the truth is, you're not. You're just stuck in a cycle, a loop of fear and doubt that feels impossible to break. But cycles can be broken. It starts with awareness. Recognizing the patterns, the triggers, the ways anxiety is influencing your behavior. And then it's about taking small, intentional steps to change the narrative. Talk to your partner. Be honest about what you're feeling, but also take responsibility for your actions. Let them know you're working on it, that you're trying to break free from the grip of anxiety. And most importantly, show them that you're willing to meet them halfway. Relationships thrive on trust, communication, and mutual effort. When you show up, not as the person anxiety tells you to be, but as the person you truly are, you give your partner the chance to do the same. It's not easy, and it's not instant. But every time you choose vulnerability over fear, every time you choose connection over isolation, you're chipping away at anxiety's hold on you. And slowly but surely, you'll start to see that the love you're so afraid of losing, it's stronger than you think. It's worth fighting for. And so are you. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be this way. Anxiety is powerful, but it's not invincible. It might feel like a towering, immovable force, but it's more like a shadow. It only has as much power as you give it. The first step to breaking free is recognizing it for what it is. Understanding that those thoughts in your head, the ones that whisper you're not enough, or they're going to leave you, they're not facts. They're not even truths. They're just thoughts. And thoughts, no matter how loud or convincing, can be challenged. The next step? Communication. This is where the magic happens. It's about opening up, even when it feels terrifying. It's about sitting down with your partner and saying, "Hey, I've been feeling really anxious lately, and I know it's affecting us. I'm working on it, and I need your support." Those words. They're a game changer. Because here's the thing. Anxiety thrives in silence. It grows in the dark, feeding on your fears and insecurities. But when you bring it into the light, when you share it with someone who cares about you, it loses some of its power. And let's be real. Talking about your anxiety isn't easy. It requires vulnerability, and vulnerability is scary. It's like standing on the edge of a cliff, not knowing if you'll be caught or if you'll fall. But here's the secret. Vulnerability is also where connection is born. When you let someone see the messy, imperfect parts of you, you give them the chance to love you. Not in spite of those parts, but because of them. You give them the chance to say, "I see you. I hear you. And I'm here for you." Of course, communication isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process, a dance of give and take. It's about checking in with each other, about creating a safe space where both of you can express your fears, your needs, your hopes. It's about saying, "This is hard, but we're in it together." And when you do that, something incredible happens. You start to rebuild trust. You start to replace doubt with understanding, fear with connection, isolation with intimacy. So, yes, anxiety is a tough opponent. But you're tougher. You have the power to change the narrative, to rewrite the story. It starts with a single step, a conversation, a moment of honesty, a decision to fight for the love that matters to you. And with every step you take, you'll find that anxiety's grip loosens, bit by bit, until one day, you realize you're no longer just surviving. You're thriving. And your relationship? It's stronger than ever. And finally, take care of yourself. This isn't just a nice to have. It's essential. Think of it like this. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly running on empty, if your mind is a whirlwind of worry and doubt, how can you show up fully for the people you love? How can you give your best when you're not at your best? Self-care isn't selfish. It's the foundation of everything else. So, what does that look like? It's different for everyone. Maybe it's therapy, where you sit down with someone who can help you untangle the knots in your mind and give you tools to navigate the storm. Maybe it's meditation, where you carve out a few quiet moments each day to breathe, to ground yourself, to remind yourself that you're here, you're safe, and you're enough. Maybe it's journaling, where you pour your thoughts onto the page, releasing them from your mind and giving yourself the clarity to see what's real and what's just noise. Or maybe it's something as simple as taking a walk. Stepping outside, feeling the sun on your face, the ground beneath your feet, the rhythm of your breath as you move. It's in those moments that you remember. You're not your anxiety. You're so much more than the fears that try to define you. You're a person with dreams, with strengths, with a heart that's capable of so much love, both for others and for yourself. And here's the beautiful part. When you take care of yourself, when you find ways to calm that storm inside, it doesn't just change you. It changes your relationships, too. When you're at peace with yourself, you show up differently. You're more present, more patient, more open. You're able to listen without jumping to conclusions, to love without fear, to connect without walls. And that's where relationships truly flourish. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about recognizing that you deserve care, that you're worth the effort, and that by investing in yourself, you're also investing in the people you love. So, take that step. Whether it's big or small. Find what helps you feel grounded, what helps you feel like you. Because when you're at peace, you create a ripple effect. You inspire those around you to do the same. And together, you build something stronger, deeper, and more beautiful than anxiety could ever imagine. Anxiety might be a part of your life, but it doesn't have to control it. Think of it like a storm. It might rage around you, but you don't have to let it sweep you away. You can be the calm in the chaos, the steady hand on the wheel, guiding yourself through the turbulence. And it certainly doesn't have to destroy your relationships. In fact, the very thing that feels like it's pulling you apart can become a source of strength, a catalyst for deeper connection, if you choose to face it head-on. You have the power to change the narrative. Yes, you. Right now, in this moment, you can decide to take a step, however small, towards something better. It doesn't have to be a giant leap. It can be as simple as pausing when the anxiety rises, taking a deep breath, and reminding yourself, this is just a feeling. It will pass. It can be as brave as opening up to someone you trust, saying, I'm struggling, but I'm trying. It can be as quiet as sitting with yourself, journaling, meditating, or just giving yourself permission to rest. The key is to start. Today. Not tomorrow, not when things feel easier, not when you're ready. Because here's the truth. You'll never feel ready. Anxiety will always find a reason to hold you back, to tell you to wait, to convince you that you're not strong enough or brave enough or good enough. But you don't have to listen. You can choose to act anyway. You can choose to show up for yourself, for your relationships, for the life you deserve. So take a deep breath. Feel the air fill your lungs, grounding you in this moment. Remind yourself that you're not alone, that you're capable of more than you think, and that every small step you take is a victory. Because here's the thing about anxiety. It might be loud, but it's not invincible. And with every breath, every word, every act of courage, you're chipping away at its power. You're rewriting the story, one page at a time. Today is your chance to start. To choose connection over fear, love over doubt, and hope over despair. It won't always be easy, but it will always be worth it. So take that step. Take that breath. And know that you're not just surviving. You're building a life, a love, a future that's stronger than anxiety could ever imagine. You've got this. If this resonated with you, give this video a like and share it with someone who might need to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights on relationships, mental health, and personal growth. Remember, you're not alone in this journey.